Okay, welcome back. So today we'll talk about tangle diagrams. So this is just the terminology that's sometimes used to describe the picture that we have been drawing for a permutation. So here's roughly what we have been doing. So if we want to depict a permutation, say let's say we are looking at a permutation of 4. So we draw 4 points labeled 1, 2, 3, 4 on either side. And so I suppose want the permutation pi, which is, let's say, so let me write it in 2-line notation. 1, 2, 3, 4 maps to, let's say, 3, 4, 2, 1. So 1 maps to 3. So we join 1 and 3, 2 maps to 4, which means we join 2 and 4, 3 maps to 2, and 4 maps to 1. And so the question of course is, what are the rules for drawing these diagrams? Because it seemed, so one rule we looked at already, we said it's best to avoid getting 3 or more lines to pass through a single point, because that makes counting crossings somewhat harder. But we also need to understand what are all the admissible ways of drawing these diagrams. So what are the rules for these diagrams? So the question is, what are the rules for drawing such a diagram? So this is sometimes called a tangle diagram. So what's the rules for drawing tangles? Okay, so of course the primary thing of course is, what is a tangle? It's for each eye. So you draw 2 lines like this for each eye. If you want to represent a permutation, you draw a curve which joins I and its image under the permutation, which we will call pi of I. Okay, so and similarly you pick a different value of I and you join it to whatever it maps to under the permutation, right, and so on. So it's nothing but a bunch of curves drawn between these lines. Now what are the rules? Well, for a start, this curve should lie between these 2 lines that are drawn here. So let's call these lines as L and L dash. So what we want is the curves should lie in the region between these lines. Okay, so if for instance we don't follow this rule, then here's what you might do. So for instance, if you wanted to depict a permutation, say which sends 1 to 2 and 2 to 1, say you join 1 to 2 in this way, and suppose we join 2 to 1 like this. Now doing this would not produce a crossing. So observe that if you did this, this does not lead to a crossing between these 2 lines, but recall that we do want to have a crossing in this case. So recall, what does crossing, the sort of the non-pictorial definition of a crossing mean? So what are the crossings of a permutation pi? This is the sort of more formal definition. This is the non-pictorial definition of crossings. So recall from one of our previous lectures that this just means you pick all pairs, ordered pairs I comma j, where well, what are I and j? They are numbers between 1 and whatever n, where n is so let's say pi is a permutation of n. So pi, given pi a permutation of n, you look at all pairs ij, where I and j are numbers between 1 and n, satisfying the following property such that I is smaller than j, but the image of I is greater than the image of j under the permutation. Okay, so this is exactly what we would want to understand by crossings or inversions, but when we draw pictures, we want the pictures to correctly capture this notion, right? So if you allowed for the curves to go outside this region R, then here's a perfectly legitimate picture, but it fails to show a crossing between these lines, when in fact there is a crossing, because this permutation pi here is just a permutation which sends 1 to 2 and 2 to 1. So of course I could be 1 and j is 2, and that would satisfy the formal definition of a crossing. Okay, so this picture is bad for the reason that it does not show a crossing when in fact there is one. So we do not want to allow these. Okay, so that's one. So let's look at rule number 2. So this is something that we have already looked at. You don't want too many curves to pass through the same point, so at most okay, at most 2 curves pass through any given point, and the reason for this is, well, this is not too important a rule, but the reasoning behind this is that it makes for counting crossings much easier. So for instance, if you allowed say 3 curves to go through the same point, in some sense what this means is that there are 3 crossings at this place. So the first curve here and the second curve cross each other, the second and the third curves cross each other, and the first and the third curves cross each other. So this actually counts for 3 crossings, but that's much harder to actually count, you know, when you're doing it pictorially. So what you want to do is to avoid having more than 2 curves pass through the same point. Okay, so whenever we see a configuration like this, we would ideally want to draw it like, so we would want to draw this particular angle as follows. You would say, okay, you would want this to go here, you would want the second fellow to go here, and when you want to draw the third guy, you draw it, for instance, slightly shifted, so that now there are in fact 3 crossings. So each of these 3 here shows up as a crossing. Okay, so this picture on the left is not allowed, but what you would ideally want to do is to draw it like the picture on the right. Okay, so that's the second rule for drawing tangles. So number 1, you should stay within the regions defined by the 2 lines. Number 2, you should avoid having more than 2 fellows crossing at the same point, but that still allows for a wide range of ways of drawing tangles. For example, suppose we just had a simple permutation, say 1 goes to 1, 2 goes to 2. Now just allowing for rules 1 and 2, you could very well draw this as follows. You might have drawn this by saying, well, I need my curves to stay within the lines, so let me send 1 to 1 and let me send 2 to 2. Okay, so this of course satisfies both rules 1 and 2, but what this does is it produces 2 spurious crossings. So here and here are, well, they are not really crossings, they shouldn't be crossings, but what one has done by virtue of drawing the curves in this way is to have introduced 2 spurious crossings, okay, which shouldn't really be there. You don't want to think of them as crossings, because for instance this is really the correct diagram for the permutation and it doesn't have any crossings. 1 goes to 1, 2 goes to 2. If you apply the formal definition of a crossing, this does not have any crossings. So you do not want to allow things like this. Okay, and well, there are other things you could have done. You could have even looped. So for instance, what's another way of producing a spurious crossing? Similarly, if I had just one, let's say I even had a permutation of a single number 1 going to 1, I might have drawn it like this, 1 goes to 1, okay, which again ends up producing a spurious crossing here. So you really do not want to have configurations like that. Okay, so what we really want to do is to write down a couple of rules which will prevent these sorts of things. So rule number 3 says there should be no loops. Okay, you are not allowed to have loops in a curve. It shouldn't intersect itself. And rule number 4 says when I have two different curves, for instance the configuration that we just wrote out here, if you have two different curves intersecting in 2 points in this way, if that happens, again it means there is a spurious crossing. So rule number 4 says any two curves can intersect in at most one point. Okay, so each pair of curves intersects at most once. So if you put that in place, then the configuration that we drew with two curves sort of hitting each other along a loop like that wouldn't be allowed anymore. So another way of formulating these rules 3 and 4 is to say you just draw the tangle in such a way as to minimize the number of crossings that you produce. So here's an equivalent formulation of rules 3 and 4. Is to say you draw it in such a way as to minimize the number of crossings. Draw the curves in such a way that the number of crossings that you produce in the diagram is minimized. So if you keep this in mind, then for instance the way to draw just this permutation 1 going to 1, 2 going to 2 would be this, which produces no crossings at all. Now if you did anything funny like we depicted in our earlier diagram, it still is going to send 1 to 1 and 2 to 2, but this way of drawing the diagram produces 2 crossings. But by sort of moving those two curves apart, you can further minimize the number of crossings. You can just get 0 crossings as opposed to 2 crossings in that way of drawing the diagram. Okay, so I should sort of emphasize the number of crossings in the diagram. So here when I say crossings, I'm using it in the sense of a place where these two curves cross, not in the formal definition sense of crossings for a permutation. Okay, so draw the curves in such a way that the number of crossings in the diagram is minimized. So that's sort of a one easy rule to keep in mind when drawing these diagrams. Okay, but even with all these rules, it turns out there are many different ways of drawing the same tangle, and one should check that in fact no matter which way one draws it, the number of crossings that you finally produce is always the same. Okay, so you can still draw rather complicated looking tangles. So example, if you took the 3 cycle, if you take the permutation pi to just be 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 1, then you could depict it like this. So 1 maps to 2, 2 maps to 3, 3 maps to 1. So here's a tangle diagram for the permutation pi, but of course you could still do things like, so you just want 1 to go to 2, so let's see, so maybe I do this, 1 maps to 2. Okay, so now I need to look at how to get 2 to go to 3 now, and then finally I need to make 3 to go to 1. So when 2 maps to 3, I should, so if I sort of make it go across, so here's one obvious thing one might have thought of, so let's just try and make 2 go to 3 like this, but that would violate rule number 4, because these two curves now, the first curve that we drew and the curve in red, they intersect in 2 points, so we are not allowing double intersections. So what one would want to do is to redraw this curve So we modify it. In the following way. So what would we want to do? We would want to make it, this is the only thing you can do. If you make the two of them intersect once, then they will also have to intersect a second time. Right? There is no way of making it intersect exactly once, no matter, so you can try drawing this in various ways. If you try to join 2 and 3 by drawing any curve which remains within the two lines, if you hit this first curve once, then you sort of have to hit it once more in order to try and reach the point 3. Okay? Since you are not allowed a double intersection, the only thing you can do is to have no intersection at all. So you have to go, for instance, all the way down. Okay? So as you can see that, you know, the usual way of drawing it, the straight line which joins 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, these two lines of course don't cross. Right? So there is no crossing between those two lines, and that's what happens even if you draw the curve in a much more complicated way. And finally you want to draw, join 3 to 1. So joining 3 to 1, again, you know, the simplest thing would be to just do this, and that only has one crossing each with each of these two curves. So that's a perfectly legitimate way of drawing. So this is also, so is this, each of these is a perfectly valid tangle diagram which depicts the permutation, the 3 cycle 2 3 1. Okay? And you can sort of play with these things a little bit more. It's good to have the flexibility to draw it in various ways, you know, not always having to draw it by straight lines. Okay? There will be situations where you might want to see some proofs pictorially, and there it's useful to have more flexibility in drawing these tangle diagrams. Okay? So these are the various rules to keep in mind when you encounter tangle diagrams or when you want to draw tangle diagrams yourselves. Okay? So we'll try and use this a little bit more next time to try and understand the notion of sign and so on.